I see the number of participants is growing quickly. So I think we can start this this short information session. So good afternoon. My name is Maciej Łopatka and I'm call coordinator for the Innovation Talents Call. I'm very pleased to open this information session on the Next Generation Innovation Talents Internship scheme. We are very happy, first of all, to see many participants who registered, potential applicants who are interested in this call from all over the Europe. I would like to welcome all the participants, but as well the speakers for today's session. So we have today with us Mr. Kit Sekura, who is the head of unit of the ESE program in the DG Research and Innovation, and Ms. Albena Kuyimdzieva, who is policy officer for the ESE program in DG Research and Innovation. So welcome. I think we can go to the agenda for this session. So first we will have the welcome word and introduction by Mr. Sekura, then the presentation of the policy context for this innovation talent scheme by Ms. Kuyimdzieva. Then I will go to the modalities and practical information regarding the call itself, so how we will implement this call, the preparation of the applications, the evaluation, eligibility, admissibility, and so on. And we foresee around 25 minutes for the question and answer, and we hope to get some interesting questions from you, from the participants to this session, and we will try to answer all of them. And then we will close the session before 4, so overall the session shouldn't extend after 4 p.m. So I think we can go to the next slide, and very quickly I will present the housekeeping rules. So as you have seen, your cameras and microphones have been turned off. It's on purpose. All the this information session will be recorded, so you can consult it afterwards, or as well those who have not managed to join us now can consult this recording afterwards. This recording will be put on the event website. And finally, the communication between us will be done through Slido. So if you have any question during the presentation, please submit via Slido. The hashtag for the Slido is EIC, European Innovation Council, EIC. So please, you can do it now during the session, when we will be presenting the slides. So I would like to welcome to the stage Mr. Sekura, who will give the introduction, and welcome to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maciej, and good afternoon to everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here. This is one of our flagship actions under the European Innovation Council. What I thought would be useful for the introduction is to give a little bit of the context, how this fits with the European Innovation Council, what we're trying to achieve with this action. And then we will go through into the more specifics with my colleague Albena. So if you look at the European Innovation Council, it has an objective set out in the legislation of Horizon Europe to identify and support breakthrough technologies and game-changing innovations, and to scale these up. So we're going through from very basic research to technology transfer to company support to scale up. And we've now been running, if we can move to the next slide, Maria. We've now been running for approximately just over 3 years. There is a quite ambitious budget of 10 billion euros that we have as part of Horizon Europe. And we have been very much focusing on the scale-up phase with the introduction of the EIC fund. But another major objective for us is to really find ways to connect research and the world of research with innovation and the world of entrepreneurship and investing in new companies and new technologies. We are ourselves an investor in breakthrough technologies, early stage companies, We've already reached this kind of milestone of being the largest early stage deep tech investor in Europe. We've been making a lot of investments in new technologies this year, and we're also looking at improving the overall ecosystem for innovation in Europe. As I mentioned, we've been running now for just over 2 years. We launched in March 2021, and one of the responsibilities of the Commission, with the advice from the EIC board and the support from ISMEA agency, is to describe how the program will be implemented. And we have 3 annual work programs, and the action today is part of the 2023 work program. And for those of you who have been following, we made an amendment to the work program that was published over the summer, specifically to enable us to launch this action of the next generation innovation talents. If I move to the next slide. What you'll see here is the 3 main instruments of the European Innovation Council. We have the Pathfinder for early stage research. We have the transition for converting research results into a potential innovation opportunity. And we have the accelerator to support startups, SMEs, to develop the innovations, to bring them to the market and to scale up. If I was to position the action that we will discuss today, it's really to try and bridge between the worlds of research coming from the Pathfinder to the world of innovation with the transition and the accelerator. The transition is a funding instrument, but this new scheme will be very much based on individuals. And to provide individuals the opportunity to step between these 2 worlds of research and innovation, because we really believe this human contact for people, young researchers, to be able to experience innovation and what it's like to be working in a startup is an incredibly important part to bring these 2 worlds together. I would like to, just before I conclude, make a few additional points. We have in the European Union a innovation agenda that has been decided, the new European Innovation Agenda. And one of the areas that we are focusing on is talent. And this scheme that we are launching under the EIC is one of the flagships on talent, and to really address the diagnosis of what needs to be done on improving talent for innovation in Europe. The second point I wanted to make is that we are doing this very much in partnership. Under the EIC, we have a board of very experienced innovators. They have a joint group with the European Research Council, Scientific Council, and also the European Institute of Innovation and Technology and the governing board. And this scheme has been designed together with the European Research Council and the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. And you will see in the description that it also aims to build bridges with the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions, the research infrastructures. So I would also say it's really a flagship of how we can build synergies between different parts of the Horizon program. So we are very excited about this flagship action in the Commission, in ISMEA. It's really something that's received a lot of support from our advisory boards, the Scientific Council of the ERC, the EIT Governing Board. So very much looking forward to the questions. Please do ask whichever questions you would like. And as Maciej said, we will do our best to answer all of them through the Slido and the session at the end. But let's start going into the specifics of this specific action. So I pass back to you, Maciej.
Thank you very much, Keith, for this introduction. I would like to welcome to the stage Albena. Please, Albena, go. We see your slides, Albena, but we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. My name is Albena Kuyumdzhieva. I'm Policy Officer in DG Research and Innovation, and today it's my pleasure to present you the details and the idea behind next generation. I will first go into specific of the scheme itself, and then we will focus on the concrete actions and the call that we are currently discussing. The main goal of the scheme is to strengthen the capacities and innovation potential in Europe and create this bridge between research and innovation that often we see it's missing in some parts. You all know that Europe is a leader in research and research discoveries, which we sometimes, however, struggle to kind of transform into innovation services and products that enter the market. The specific objectives of the Next Generation Talent Scheme is to enable researchers and aspiring innovators to actually understand how innovation is done beyond invention and help them develop entrepreneurial mindset so that once they have a great innovation and great research results, they can actually turn it and bring it to market. The other idea of the scheme is to provide the innovative startups in Europe access to great new ideas and insights from cutting-edge research, thus bridging the two portfolio search and innovation and create a win-win scenario, both companies, for researchers, and for Europe as a whole. The scheme is open for any researchers and students who are currently funded by EIC Pathfinder project, ERC programs, Marie Skłodowska-Curie, research infrastructure, and also alumni and graduates from EIT and KICS programs. These talents, the next generation innovation talents, will be hosted by companies that are funded under EIC Accelerator, Transition, also companies that have received Seal of Excellence, and companies under the EIT and the different KICS portfolio. For the full description of all eligible candidates, you can also always refer to the text of the call. What the scheme look like in practice? For a 2-year period, we expect at least 600 internships to take place with an average duration between 3 and 6 months. There are two defined streams for the scheme. One is the so-called deep tech talents, which includes internships related to highly specialized projects or assistant to senior executive. This means that the companies who are willing to participate and host a deep tech talent have to define the specialized project or have to define the assistant that is needed to a senior executive. And this program is normally targeted at PhD candidate and postdoctoral researchers that are working currently under ERC, EIC Pathfinder, Marie Curie, EIT, and research infrastructure actions, with an average duration, depending on the specificity of the program, between 3 to 6 months. The second stream of the program is so-called aspiring innovators, which is less specialized activities. And then because of this, it includes students and graduates, mostly from EIT label, and master's and doctoral programs, alumni, jump starters, and this kind of stream is also has a duration of maximum of 6 months. What is important to note here that out of this minimum 600 internships that we expect to take place over a 2-year period, at least 150 of them should include researchers that are involved in EIC Pathfinder action. This is the groundbreak research program with a lower tier level that is supported by EIC. In terms of procedure of the internship, what we envisage that first, there should be a call for expression of interest, where the companies are expressing their interest in hosting an intern and defining in which scheme they want to participate and respectively define the project or the general internship scheme that they want to get involved. This will be followed by a call for expression of interest of the eligible researchers. And again, for the eligibility, we refer to the call text where all eligible researchers and students that can participate in the scheme are listed. And then, of course, the third and the very important step as well is the matching between the researcher and the internship position in the host company. What I want to heavily underline here, that this scheme should be designed in a way that is lean and agile. It should create as less as possible administrative burdens for the applicants and for the companies, and has to create a really fast model of interaction between interested companies and interested researchers that will allow also a very quick deployment of these researchers in the companies. And this is something that has to be taken into consideration in the methodology and in the full proposal. As a result of the scheme, we want to have, again, minimum 600 internship for the 2 years period. And at the end of the scheme, we want a quality assessment to see what is the impact of the scheme, what works well, what didn't work well, where we can have improvement of the scheme, because as a part of the flagship action of the new European Innovation Agenda, we consider it a pilot that after the assessment in 2 years period, we will see how and what if needs to be improved and how to develop it further. The expected impacts from the scheme is that researchers will have increased awareness and knowledge on their future preferred career path. Maybe they will decide that creating a startup, a spin-off, and being entrepreneur is what they want to do, or they will decide that academia is the best place for them. We want to have the improved access to research talents by EIC and EIT supported startups and SMEs. That is crucial for the development of their deep tech innovations. And we also expect increased visibility of the scheme, highlighting also the funding instruments and the different opportunities provided by the EIC and other partner organizations. In this particular call, we are looking for a beneficiary that will implement the scheme on behalf of the EIC. And therefore, the activities and the tasks of the beneficiaries are related to the proper execution of the whole cycle of the scheme, starting with the support for the preparation of the call for expression of interest. And here we are referring both to the companies and the researchers. And this should be done in very close coordination with the participating EU partner programs, which are EIC, EIT, ERC, the European Research Council, Marie Curie, and research infrastructures. Following the preparation of the call for expression of interest, we expect the beneficiary to create a matching IT platform that links interested researchers and companies. The beneficiary that will be selected should provide ongoing guidance and support to the candidates and the interns and the companies on how exactly the whole matching process and the application process should take place. And once a match is established, the company should facilitate the agreements between the research institutes and the companies. And in these agreements, as standard, there should be clauses regarding intellectual property rights, condition of work, and etc. And this, of course, has to be coordinated with the respective funding program where the researcher takes place. It goes without saying that there are different procedure and there's different agreements if we refer to Marie Skłodowska-Curie researcher, or if we refer to EIC Pathfinder or ERC researcher. The beneficiary should be able to provide any practical assistance and follow up on any practical issues during the internship of that takes place. And apart from this cycle, the beneficiary should organize information and dissemination campaigns increasing the awareness about the funding instruments and the funding opportunities. Whenever relevant, the beneficiary should provide financial support to third parties to cover additional cost of interest. And Maciej will talk a bit about this a bit later. This is basically paying a mobility allowance or internship cost of some of the programs that participate, researchers from some of the programs that participate. There should be a regular reporting back to each respective EU funding program, companies and interns. So this goes beyond the usual reporting that you have to do under your grant agreement. It really involves keeping all original funding programs and of course EIC as a program informed on how the matching and the application process is developing, what are the requirements of the companies, what is the satisfaction level of the interns and the companies, what is the impact of the scheme and its effectiveness. And this, of course, can be done through a variety of different means, such as surveys, focus groups, and etc. The specific conditions related to this particular core, we believe that in order for the scheme to run smoothly, the methodology that the beneficiary should propose should anticipate that the scheme is implemented in close collaboration with the European Commission and all relevant programs, which means that the methodology should be flexible enough to allow for input and strategic guidance and advice coming from any of the partner programs to be input in the implementation of the scheme while the scheme is implemented. So the guidance that all the partner programs will provide should have important role to play in the implementation of the whole scheme. This is why the methodology should be extremely flexible and agile. We want to see specifically how, given that it's a 4 million call where at least half of the money should go for funding scholarships, internship schemes, we want to see a very strict rules on management and the control of the financial support that will be provided, and how the financial flows will be monitored, and the whole process will be organized in an effective and efficient way, including avoidance of any abuse. And here again, I want to underline that having this in mind, you should always take into consideration that the scheme should be agile and create as less as possible administrative burden for both companies and talents. And then what is extremely important also, given that the scheme is a flagship initiative and has a high political priority, we want to ensure that the beneficiary will follow the visibility rules of the Commission, and all the visual elements will be produced in compliance with the visual identity of the EIC and other regional funding bodies, which means that close collaboration with the communication team in the agency will be expected. In order to properly implement the scheme, we require that the beneficiary should demonstrate their knowledge, expertise and means, of course, to implement the scheme. A knowledge in the Horizon 2020 and Horizon funding programs is essential in order to be able to coordinate with all the funding bodies and in order to take into consideration all the different administrative modalities of each of the original funding programs. Apart from the knowledge in Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe funding programs, the future beneficiary should demonstrate experience in managing grants and multiple stakeholders projects under Horizon Europe or Horizon 2020, should demonstrate knowledge in human resource advisory services and recruiting and headhunting capacity for startups and spin-offs, should understand how the world of innovation works, and should be able to demonstrate experience in providing legal and accounting services, as well as It should deal with all necessary agreements concerning data protection and confidentiality. The whole project should be, I want to severely underline this, executed with GDPR in mind. In order to facilitate and win the evaluation process, any beneficiary, any any applicant should provide a comprehensive comprehensive work plan on how the whole internship process will be organized, from the call of expression of interest to the matching and the follow-up. We have to see a methodology for measuring the effectiveness and satisfaction and the impact of the scheme, which will allow us to adjust some of the processes if the level of effectiveness or satisfaction on our impact are not high enough. And we want to see key performance indicators that will measure the impact in terms of numbers of matches and internship and satisfaction rates. And here I want to give the floor to Maciej. Again, in terms of funding, Maciej will provide all the details about administrative arrangements and processes. I want to understand that scheme. The hosting companies are not providing any financial benefits to the interns. So the program is entirely funded by the relevant this call from proposals or the relevant initial funding process. Maciej, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Albena, for this very interesting talk. So now I will go to more practicalities of the implementation of the call for proposals. So let me start by providing you a summary of information regarding this call. So first of all, the call opened on 16th of August this year and will close, which is very important, of course, for all potential applicants, on the 4th of October at 5 p.m. Brussels time. So please make sure that if you are interested in the submission of the proposal to this call, that you are on time. And I would advise strongly to not wait until the last very moment to submit, because there can be always a technical issue preventing you to be on time, and timestamp of course counts for the admissibility of the proposal to the call. So as it was mentioned, the indicative budget for this call is 4 million euro, and the call will be implemented through the action, coordination and support action, which is a specific type of action under Horizon Europe. We are planning to fund only one project under this call, and the estimated duration of the project is 24 months. Regarding the funding rate is 100% of the eligible cost claimed by the applicant, by the beneficiary. Okay, regarding the application. So first of all, eligibility. So who is eligible? We consider that to participate in this call, a single legal entity can submit a proposal, or consortium of legal entities, both from the member state or associated countries. Regarding the proposal templates, it is a standard coordination and support action proposal template, which means it's has two parts. One part is so-called part A, which is the part which is built or generated by all the information which is submitted in the funding intenders portal when you start preparing your application through the different various inputs of information regarding the partners, the budget, the other information regarding your proposal. And there is as well the part B, which is the narrative part, that is submitted as a PDF file with a maximum of 30 pages. What is important that you shouldn't go beyond 30 pages, because all pages which are beyond will not be considered and will be invisible evaluator. So please keep it in mind to be within 30 pages. You will get as well some notification if you exceed this limit. What is important as well, since we under this call foresee the use of financial support to third parties, there is an annex which is you can find on the funding intenders portal regarding information on financial support to third parties, which needs to be as well included in the proposal. So please have a look to the detail regarding this information. And as I said, the submission has to happen through the funding intenders portal before the deadline. Let's go to the next slide. Regarding the reimbursement of the internship cost, as my colleague has said already, first of all, the general rule is that all the costs related to these internships will be covered by the partner programs, except for the ERC. So it will be covered by the EIC Pathfinder, Maria Skłodowska Reactions, Research Infrastructure, European Institute for Innovation and Technology, and EIT KICS as well. So the except is for the ERC and EIC Pathfinder regarding the mobility allowance. So let me go too quickly into the detail. So for the ERC, for the personal cost, and for the EIC Pathfinder for the mobility allowance, this cost will be provided by the beneficiary. So by this grant, through the financial support to third parties, for the European Research Council researchers, for PhD students, the allowance will be, a monthly allowance will be of 4,300 euros, and for the postdoctoral researcher will be 5,300 euros per month for the maximum duration of 3 months. Regarding the EIC Pathfinder, so the personal cost reimbursed by the EIC grant itself, and the additional flat monthly mobility allowance in case the location of the internship scheme is more than 150 kilometers from the normal place of work, will be of 2,300 euro per month. Now, financial support to third parties. So in the work program, it's defined what exactly does it means. As my colleague said already, in the definition of the call, at least 50% of the total budget foreseen by the EIC for this action, so 4 million euro, which means that at least 2 million euro needs to be allocated through the financial support to third parties in form of lump sums. As well, there is additional limitation that the maximum amount to be granted to a third party is of 15,900 euro, which corresponds, if you make a calculation, of 3 months for the ERC postdoctoral fellow researcher. There is a series of rules to be considered for the financial support to third parties that I have included here. And one of those says that the applicants must clearly describe the objective and expected results to be obtained through this financial support to the third parties. As well, projects must publish open calls widely and adhere to EU standards for transparency, equal treatment, conflict of interest, and confidentiality. As well, all call for third parties have to be published on the funding and tenders portal, but as well on the beneficiaries' websites. And projects must publish the outcome of the calls without any delay, including description of the third party projects, the date of the award, the duration, and the legal name and the country. So, of course, it's all in the compliance, full compliance with the data protection, with the confidentiality of information. Regarding the evaluation of applications, so as you know, the closure of the call is on the 4th of October, where we will start to look into the applications that we received, and we foresee to provide the results of the evaluation process by the end of February 2024. As it is defined in the work program, the evaluation committee is composed of the representatives from the EU institutions. And the assessment of the proposals submitted to this call will go in line with the general evaluation of CSA actions under CSA calls, which foresee three evaluation criteria: excellence, impact, quality, and efficiency of the implementation. And each of those criteria has 2 additional sub-criteria. So it is very important to understand that how the overall score is calculated. So the overall score of the proposal is calculated as the sum of the components, so the score from excellence, impact, and implementation. And the applicants to be considered for funding needs to have the score which is over 10 out of 15. So it has to be there is a threshold of 10 points on 15. Regarding the threshold for the individual criteria, we have 3 out of 5. So each of the individual scores for the evaluation criteria as well has to be at least 3. Otherwise, the proposal will be rejected, will not be considered for funding. So it is very as well important for the applicants to understand that what we are looking into the proposals will be evaluated against this list of the criteria. So these are the focal points where the evaluators will be looking into each proposal and try to assess and provide score regarding the quality of the proposal. So for under excellence, we have the clarity and pertinence of the project's objectives, but as well the quality of the proposed coordination and support measures. Under impact, there is the credibility of the pathways to achieve the expected outcomes and impacts, something which was mentioned by Albena. Indeed, there is a series of expected outcomes and impacts that we see for this action. But as well, under impact, what is evaluated is the suitability and quality of the measures to maximize expected outcomes and impacts, including basically, of course, the standard activities like communication, dissemination, and exploitation. Under implementation, we have quality and effectiveness of the work plan, but as well what is assessed is the effort assigned to the work packages and the overall resources which are claimed for this project. Additionally, the assessment is made on the capacity and role of each participant. In case of single participant, of course, it's only the one, but as well in case of the multi-participant, so multi-beneficiary grant, if the applicant proposes a consortium, so more than one partner, the full expertise of the consortium is being assessed. So these are the evaluation criteria against which each evaluator will assess the quality of the proposal. Regarding the process itself, so after the deadline for the submission of the proposals, we will start looking into the admissibility, eligibility checks. So for the admissibility, of course, the proposal needs to be submitted before the call deadline. It needs to be readable, printable, accessible, and has to be complete. So all the information which is requested to be in the proposal needs to be provided. Then we will assign the evaluators for each of the proposals we receive. There will be 3 evaluators per proposal. One of the evaluators, so all 3 evaluators will prepare their individual evaluation reports, so their assessment individually without knowing what are the ideas or opinions of the other evaluators. And one of the evaluator will be assigned the role of the rapporteur and will draft consensus report, which will consider all different opinions from the 3 experts, evaluators who are assigned to evaluate the proposal. So as such, each proposal will get the final score, which will be calculated as the sum of the scores for each evaluation criteria. And the panel will as well of the evaluators will provide a set of comments which will provide additional insights into the assessment for each of the evaluation criteria. Each proposal will go as well through the ethics screening and assessment, and within 5 months, so by the end of February, we are planning to provide the latest feedback to all the participants or the applicants who submitted their applications. One additional detail is that, of course, one of the eligibility criteria is that the proposal is in scope for the call. So if at any stage of the evaluation process, normally at the beginning, the evaluators will see that the proposal doesn't exactly consider the objective of the call, the proposal can be considered as not eligible because being out of scope. Okay, so now how the evaluators will give the scores to the evaluation criteria. So there are 6 scores or even more, because we allow as well the half points to be given. So going beyond 0, which is basically there is no information on proposal, doesn't fails basically to address any the criterion. So there's no possibility basically to evaluate the given criteria. We have 5 scores: poor, very good, and excellence. I would like as well to draw your attention to the fact that 3 score of 3, it means that the proposal is already good. And we identify 2, let's say, kind of issues that can be identified by the evaluators. So one for the scores 1 and 2, we talk about weaknesses. So something which is more, I mean, there are some, let's say, bigger problems which have been identified by the evaluators, or shortcoming, which are softer problems that can as well lead to the score of 5, which is excellence, where any shortcomings that have been identified are minor. Of course, as I said, each evaluator can as well provide the score, middle scores, like for example 3.5, 4.5, 2.5, and so on. So I think we came to the Q&A session, where we'll try to reply to your questions. Hopefully there are many interesting questions, and I would like to ask our colleague to help with us with it. Okay. So the first question we see is there any way I can find partners for this call and offer expertise? So normally on the Funding Intenders portal, there are tools which allow as well to find some partners for specific calls, but as well such a service can be provided as well by national contact points, so-called NCPs. So of course, as I said, we don't expect that all proposals are multi-partner proposal, but of course, in case there is an applicant who would be interested in submitting a proposal together with someone, you can search for this information on the Funding Intenders portal or through the NCP.
So this call is not eligible only for EIC companies. This call is eligible, the hosting companies can be EIC supported and EIT supported companies, plus EIC Seal of Excellence companies, with a rough estimation of more than 5,000 companies. Given that this is a pilot scheme included in EIC work program, we want to see how it will work. We also want to provide the needed support to our beneficiaries, which are high-risk deep tech startups, in most of the cases in their very junior steps. And after the evaluation of the impact and the effectiveness of this pilot scheme, we will then consider how to continue and, if it is possible, to open it to a variety of deep tech companies. No, this call, given that the internship schemes will be finally supported from the relevant EIC Pathfinder and ERC project, the scheme will not be able to researchers whose projects have been already finalized. Again, this is the pilot scheme, and we want to see how it works in practice for the current beneficiaries of the funding programs. So the next one, Maciej, I think it's for you.
Yeah. So as you know, there is a political agreement on association of UK to the Horizon Europe, which has not been finalized. It's planned to be finalized beginning of 2024. So for the time being, the UK participants participate as third countries to the Horizon Europe. But of course, as I mentioned, what is very important, if a UK participant wants to participate as alone it is not possible because the eligibility criteria clearly state that the legal entity needs to come from member state or associated countries. But of course, it doesn't preclude that UK participants act as additional partner in the consortium for the time being on own cost provided by UK.
So on the next question, I want to underline again that the costs of the internship schemes will be covered by the current ongoing research programs that the researchers are participating. This refers to Marie Curie, EIT, and EIC Pathfinder and research infrastructure. So the 2 million that you have as a minimum that should go to financial support to third parties covers only researchers coming from ERC and covers the mobility allowance for the EIC Pathfinder researcher. But again, all other internship costs will be covered by the respective original funding programs. So the calculation that you made here is incorrect. The expected duration of the all activities, so the program, this scheme, we are looking for an implementing partner for 2 years period. And for the expected duration of the internships, they can be between 3 to 6 months, depending on the needs of the hosting companies, the wishes of the researchers, and the particular arrangements within the original funding programs. This program, I want to underline that this is not a training program. We are not going, with this program, we are not aiming to train research into entrepreneur skills. We want to show to the researchers what innovation in practice is and how you can take your innovation beyond the laboratory. Is this support startups? We have to also be clear that the technological readiness level refers to the level of the readiness of the research idea, not to the capacities of the researcher to research and work in innovation. So researchers that are working in Pathfinder projects, for example, or in Marie Curie, are fully capable to work on higher tier levels, we believe. These internships are eligible for all Marie Curie Skłodowska PhD students. Maciej, that's up to you.
Yeah, so can partners of the consortium be composed of 2 partners from the same member state? So normally, yes, because in this specific case, we allow the monobeneficiary grants, which of course means that 1 partner is sufficient. For the other multi-beneficiary grants, of course, this is not possible because in case of multi-beneficiary grants under EIC, there is the rule of at least 3 legal entities which are independent from each other legally and are as well coming from 3 different member states or associated countries. So in specific case of this call, we allow mono-beneficiary grants as well. This is a technical detail, which for the time being we don't know, but of course, as for each grant, there is a pre-financing rate, which is to be defined. So I'm not sure if it's I have this information right now.
I believe we already answered this question. Only researchers who are currently enrolled in the original funding programs, when the calls for expression of interest are announced, are eligible to apply. EIC provides funding to high-risk deep tech companies in all sectors of research and innovation. So any kind of sector company that is, it can be health, it can be quantum, it can be space, anything that you think about that is supported by EIC are eligible, and the same is for the researchers. So if there is a call for expression of interest of a company that looks for a specific profile of a researcher, that can cover any area.
I think this is a very similar question that we had before regarding the ending date, right, Albena, of the original project. So I think you can apply it while you are in the running grant for EACAT-ERC project.
And the cost should be covered by your running grant. So
yeah,
this is what defines the ending date, the maximum ending date. I think that's for you.
Can you consider partners that are not currently listed in single? I mean, the everyone can apply for this call, and of course, you need to register as a participant. So you need to get participant identification code. So those who are new and have never received any grant, of course, considering that they have knowledge into all the requirements that have been requested in the work program, and Albena clearly explained it, can as well participate. So there is no any specific rule regarding that you need to be listed as in the SEDIA.
Yes, the setup of the infrastructure is part of the CSA grant, as it is written in the call text, minimum 50%. So minimum 2 million should go for the payment of internship. And if we presume that the minimum is envisaged in the proposal, then the rest of the money should go for setting up the infrastructure and ensuring that the process runs efficiently and smoothly.
The expected sustainability of the infrastructure beyond the CSA. I think this matchmaking platform is foreseen only for the duration of the scheme to be basically the engine to match the researchers with the companies. So if there is no any follow up, this is what I understand from.
It all also depends on the evaluation and how we decide to continue with the pilot scheme or not. Again, please consider that whatever you're doing should provide a very simple, agile way of matching companies. So the idea is not to invest heavily in a heavy IT infrastructure, but to create something that is easy to use. It is, again, it's the minimum half of the money should go for the internship payment of the internship. What we are obviously interested in, given the impact that we are expecting, is that as many as possible internships take place. And this is the focus of the implementation.
Yeah, I think this is rather straightforward. So of course, the eligibility of researchers, innovators, aspiring innovators, is defined by the partners programs. If the researcher is part of this program, basically is eligible to participate. Something which was explained, I think, by Albena. This is a very interesting question. So the expected start date of the program, of the internship scheme. So considering that by the end of February we have the results of the call, then we should consider, let's say, around 3 months at the longest for the grant agreement preparation. And of course, once the grant agreement has been signed, which is foreseen if everything goes smoothly before summer 2024, the grant can be launched and the project can start. Okay, so as we said, or I said before, I mean, we allow mono beneficiary or mono applicants for this specific call. And one of the very important aspects, of course, is the quality of the implementation. So the third evaluation criteria, under which the consortium or the beneficiary, the applicant alone, is being assessed against being able to handle to respond to this call. So basically the capacity to what clearly was as well described by Albena. So if there is a consortium of 3-4 partners, it really depends if it's efficient, this collaboration, and there are too many maybe. So I think it's really depending on what expertise which each of the applicants bring to the whole consortium and to respond to this specific action that we are looking for to implement for 2 years. I mean, in terms of the entities, legal entities, I mean, this can be private companies, this can be public bodies, even international organizations, specific cases. So it really depends on the best is to consult for the details, the work program of the EAC under Annex 2 eligibility criteria. And as well, there is as well a very clear legal definition of who can participate in the actions under Horizon Europe in the financial regulation rules for participation to Horizon Europe.
Maciej, this goes up to you for the financial support to third parties, but the minimum of 50% is targeted at funding internship. So correct me if I'm wrong, but this amount that is not spent cannot be absorbed for any other activities. But again, this is administrative.
So let me say something very frankly. So we read the same call text as the participants, applicants, and evaluators. And according to the work program, at least half of the budget that we foresee will be dedicated to the financial support to third parties, which means that the remaining part remains for the beneficiary to deal with all the work that has been clearly defined in the work program and explained by Albena. So this is what I can say. So up to 50% of 4 million can go for the cost of the beneficiary.
And also don't forget that part of the activities that the beneficiary is expected to do relate to communication and outreach. So I think it's highly unlikely that we will not have any participation from ERC or EIC Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So well, this is part of your methodology. We expect you to tell us how you're going to run the scheme. And this is the key in the evaluation of your proposal. So the sooner the better.
Yes. Okay, I think we managed to go through all the questions. Hopefully we satisfy your interest and we managed to reply to all of them. But of course, I mean, I think there are some other slides to be shown, since we are regarding the information that the participants look for. Anyway, if there are no, yes, exactly. So here are as well, the slides will be shared with you on the event website. So first of all, please have a look to the EIC work program, the updated, the amended work program over summer. I would really strongly suggest as well to contact your national contact points for any additional information regarding EIC work program, and as well other actions under which this specific call is being proposed. Apply, of course, on Funding and Tenders portal. If you didn't find information that you are looking for, you can as well contact ACMA Communication to ask questions. So I don't know if Keith is still with us. I would like maybe him to come to stage and maybe close the event. Not sure if...
Yes, I am, Maciej. So many thanks for all the questions. Maybe a question to you, Maciej, and sorry if I missed it. If people have questions after this event that they would like to follow up, is there a way they can do this?
Yeah, so basically what we propose is to contact ISMEA communication team and try to then centralize these questions with them, and they will come back to us for answers if they don't have. So I think it's the easiest solution to provide any additional information if there is a need for such information.
Okay, so many thanks, Maciej and Albina as well, because I know it's quite a novel action. So I know it's been taken quite a time of consideration and coordination to get to this stage. So we very much look forward to the applications and to launch this important action. From our side, it's not just a funding, but it's very important for the policy. And I think, as you heard from Albina, whether this is something that we would then continue with, but we believe it's very important. So we consider that this is an area which is really a weakness in the European ecosystem, that this action could potentially have quite an important impact. So many thanks to everyone for attending the workshop, and we look forward with great anticipation to the next steps.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And good luck with your application.
Yes, good luck. We are looking for your applications. Thank you. Bye.